Okay, so I'm Sarah Evans-Peters. As I said, I'm with Pacific Birds Habitat Joint Venture. And Pacific Birds, we're one of 26 joint ventures across the country. And we have a pretty large geography. We cover all of Alaska and then the west coast of British Columbia down to Northern California and then all of the Pacific Islands. And we're funded by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, so we function more as like a nonprofit. And we're really focused on building partnerships and supporting partnerships to advance and deliver conservation on the ground. And we have two focus priorities. We do coasts, which includes our Pacific Islands program in Alaska and the West Coasts. And then we have our forest program, which is almost exclusively focused on oak and prairie habitats and has been for about the last 10 years. So as I said, we're really rooted in partnerships. And so for about the last 10 years, our oak and prairie program has been really supportive of the East Cascades Oak Partnership and all of the other oak partnerships that have developed in that time period as well. So as you can see, there's a lot of partnerships. Some are a little more on the earlier side of development, and some like East Cascades and the Columbia River Network have been around and established and have been through strategic planning and have been doing the outreach and community building as well. And so when the East Cascades Oak Partnership, the Columbia River Network, and the Willamette Valley Oak and Prairie Cooperative all got funded through OWEB for the Focused Investment Partnership Program to do strategic planning and partnership building, we all started talking about the fact that we could really be leveraging each other's skill sets and resources to work together at kind of this bigger scale. And so we started having monthly phone calls to say, oh, what are you doing in planning? How are you doing your mapping? Like, what are you doing for your threat analysis? So to really like find the best leveraging points. And so that group has really advanced. And now that group has become what we call the Pacific Northwest Oak Alliance. And the Pacific Northwest Oak Alliance really focuses on advancing specific things that are better implemented at the state or multi-state or international level. And a lot of that has to do with policy and funding and communications and really like trying to figure out how we can work together as a collective, bring these partnerships together to echo the same messages, to find ways to do things together. On the flip side, there is another umbrella organization called the Cascadia Prairie Oak Partnership, ECOP. Many of you are probably involved. If you're not, it's a great resource as well. ECOP focuses on kind of the sharing of technical information. There's a conference every couple of years. It's awesome. They have a listserv where you can bounce ideas and information off. It has a little bit different focus than the Oak Alliance.
Can I interject just for a second?
Yes.
So the website, the ECOP website is going to be the kind of funnel for connecting you with the management question to resources that are hosted in their technical library. So we'll be working out how that works, but when you go to ECOP's website and you have a specific management question, you should be able to chase down the technical information on the CPOP library. So it's kind of it's going to be an ecosystem of information out there for you.
Yeah, and so with the website development that Kat was talking about, the Oak Alliance is also going through a website development thing, and we're hosting, some of the other oak partnerships don't have their own websites, they just don't have the capacity or the want to have to host that. So East Cascades will also have a hub and redirect straight to their website, but it's the same web designers making both of these websites, and so it's going to be really awesome and streamlined. So really, there's three guiding principles around the Oak Alliance work. We really work on supporting tribally led initiatives and projects and advancing that and supporting how we can. We focus on that communications piece of reconnecting people with oak at that bigger level. And then really thinking about how to build ecosystem and community resilience. And a lot of that is where we think about the funding and the policy. Okay, so in 2017, a group of us, American Bird Conservancy, Columbia Land Trust, and a host of other folks got together and we came out with Prairie Oaks and People. It's a conservation business plan. It has a lot of really good information in it. But since we have all developed these strategic action plans and we've advanced a lot in the oak world since 2017, we are just finalizing, and it should be sent out next week. It's in its super final like adjustment phases. Prairie Oaks and People 2.0, and this is more of an investment strategy. And it had a ton of input from a lot of different people. We had, I think, 9 tribes contribute. We had almost all the land trusts on the west side of Oregon and Washington contribute. Dan helped do review and contributed data. Lindsay has spent an incredible amount of time on this as well. So it was really a collective community effort. And you're not expected to be able to read anything in these slides. These are like cuts from the plan just to give you a taste of what's going to be in it so you know what to look for. So the plan, what it does is it has an ask, a financial ask that is associated with dollars and acres and capacity for the partnerships. And so you can see we are asking for $102 million for protection over the next 5 years, $180 million for oak restoration, 4.9 for species recovery, and that also includes coordination of the native plant partnerships. And then 17.2 million around this like outreach, building community and capacity for coordination of groups of partnerships like this. And it really does a good job of leading with the positive stuff instead of being like, oh my God, we have no oak left and it's so sad and our species are tanking because everything is like this huge cry now for investment. It really focuses on like the human aspect and the needs, and also has like some really good fast facts in it. So when you're looking through it, look for the fast facts. They're really great for quoting for grants and a lot of other planning efforts. And again, like I was saying, like the partnerships are really like centered in this plan. This plan was made so that we can take it to funders like NIFWIF or the Fish and Wildlife Service and be like, we as a community are ready to spend this money, and we have agreement across the board that people are ready to put it on the ground. That money is associated with 5-year goals of restoring 60,000 acres, protecting 10,000 acres, and downlisting 5 species over the next 10 years, which we think we can actually do. And then as you can see, there'll be a table in here, and it's the breakdown of where all this money is coming from and where it's going to for specific acres. These acres were generated by the partnerships. How many acres Lindsay and ECOP thought that they could restore in the next 5 years, and how many acres Columbia Land Trust and Dan thought he could acquire in the next 5 years. And so they're very, and tribes. So it's very based in real numbers of what people think they could actually put on the ground. And it does a really good job also of showing how much money has been invested already in the last 5 years for oak and prairie. So just as a throw out number, we have $52 million that have been invested, and I think it's like $60 million that have been leveraged just in the last 5 years in Oregon and Washington in oak restoration and protection, which is like a huge number. So that's trying to show funders that we have the ability to use and spend that money in effective ways. That's sorry. And then just at the end of the table for also for references for grants, you should look for, there's these really great tables, a lot of good input from Plymouth Bird Observatory, American Bird Conservancy, Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and Partners in Flight on identifying the priority species, the regulated species, having it listed out by region. So there'll be a column for Washington and Oregon, and it will tell you whether it's threatened or endangered. And then the other table are the ranges, whether a species is extirpated or occurs. And these are species that are specifically dependent on oak and prairie systems. Okay, so that we're going to transition to Year of the Oak. Okay, we're starting a campaign, a community campaign called Year of the Oak. And this is another initiative of the Oak Alliance. And this is supposed to be something fun. It starts in a couple months. It's going to last for a year. We've been in the planning phases for about the last year, and there's nobody really leading this. I'm not taking like you can email me questions about it, but I am not leaving this, and Lindsay is not leaving this, it's just supposed to be fun. So we're calling this Yoto. And it's really about building awareness, celebrating community, and inspiring the next generation of Oak stewards. So really, what this is a self-driven, like, hashtag Year of the Oak. There'll be some Instagram accounts and some other social media accounts. That what we can do is we can point to all this stuff to truly show that we're actually all as a community across Oregon and Washington and British Columbia and California doing stuff around Oak, generating excitement for the public. And there's going to be a bunch of kind of events and self-driven things that people are going to do around this. So anybody can do this, anybody can use the materials for it. Any friends group, any land trust, any SWCB, whatever. And so it's officially starting in 2025, but we're kind of kicking it off and launching it about, I think, next month. It's decentralized, meaning there's not one person that is supposed to be controlling this or implementing this. It's centered around a few events that I will plan with Lindsay and others. And we have created core messaging around this and some templates for flyers. So if you're having a field tour or a community event, then you can just take the flyer and, co-brand it as Year of the Oak. And we have a website that is about to be launched, and we have the social media accounts. And this will be tied. There is a Oregon policy working group subcommittee that is forming to have this be related to either a funding ask or a policy ask at the end of the year. So that will be the main kind of driver of this. And then we're gonna have one big celebratory event in 2025. And again, this is just reminding everybody, I think I've said it like 5 times now, but this is a DIY. This is a DIY campaign, do it yourself. It's just an idea for everybody to use, and it's up to you how you want to use it. So we are in this pre-launch phase where we have developed the website and the Instagram. We have an events template that we're sending out, an invitation to partners with that kind of package of stuff for people to feel free to use. And then in September, it's going to be kicked off, and we're going to get things rolling. So again, there'll be campaign events, whether that's like lecture series or property tours. We're like partnering with some different vineyards to do some like vineyard outreach, especially in like Willamette Valley. Like there's like a Run for the Oaks, and it's being co-branded as Year of the Oaks, Run for the Oaks, to raise money for restoration. And then there'll be some campaign activities. I think somebody's planning to have like a photography contest, which should be pretty neat. And actually somebody from Naturalist is planning to do like a hub, and I'm not sure what they're really thinking, somebody out of Portland, so. And then this is just a little bit more about the pre-launch, which I think I've already covered. And then the last thing is just like for people to chew on, if you have ideas for campaign events. If you have ideas for campaign events, feel free to email me or just run with it or contact Lindsay. I know that she has been thinking about some as well. If you have any ideas on people that you think would be really good partners in this, feel free to reach out to them directly or put me in contact with them. And if you have any ideas about ways to fund bigger things out of this, feel free to brainstorm around that as well. And if you want to be part of the policy subcommittee, or if you think you know somebody that would be really good on that, or that would be interested, let them know.